Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to another part of my F1 22 My Team career mode. This is episode number 6 today for this Spanish Grand Prix. If you guys did miss the previous one at the Miami Grand Prix, then be sure to go check that one out before you see this one, because on our first outing around Miami, we had a, well, quite a chaotic race at the end with 2 late safety cars, a bit of a gamble on a different set of tyres, and we actually had some decent action after initially struggling in the early stages of Miami. But that race really was more of a highlight of clearly our car is there's still a long way to go in many areas, and we know kind of specifically we still have to work on the drag reduction, the weight reduction, and that's why I keep banging on about it so much in the series and, you know, in my tips video, because Miami was the biggest showcase of that. Like, we were so good in the corners in sector 1, but we were just getting done so much on the acceleration, which also is in part due to, I think, also the ERS, which we want to try and upgrade if we can. We do have a pending engine upgrade, and once that comes in, I believe that will unlock then the remaining, well, there you go, it will unlock the ERS areas of the engine upgrade column. But we're not just thinking about lately R&D upgrades, we're also thinking about HQ facility upgrades. We don't quite have enough cash right now to upgrade maybe the fabrication of the aero department like I maybe wanting to do, or even the engine department. That will take 2.5 million. We have just over 2 million right now. Have been tempted by personnel upgrades and such, but I think right now the focus has to be on the car early doors. It would be nice to boost Drogovic up even more, but to be fair to him, he's been doing a pretty damn decent job. Points in Imola, you know, did well in qualifying at Miami, and I think still, you know, if he has the chance, he'll take it and he'll be able to get results. He's just gotten unlucky a few times here and there, and his awareness maybe hasn't been as high as we want it. Speaking though about boosting him, we get a department event, and we're going to accept it and lose a bit of cash, but that's going to boost his focus by 7. So obviously focus, a massive thing. You want that as high as you can for the teammate. I think he's actually got one of the highest focuses of the entire grid, I believe, when I quickly looked at the driver market. In terms of R&D upgrades then, we talked about getting the drag reduction. Well, we do have a discount on it, and we do have enough R&D points now to purchase that. So in time for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, we'll have a major weight reduction upgrade and a major drag reduction upgrade. So I think those two combined, I think from Baku onwards, we could see an exponential improvement of our car. But a nice added bonus going into this episode was this email also about power unit upgrades. So Red Bull Powertrains, the company that supplies us now, obviously the Red Bull kind of in-house workings from the Honda engine of last year, they have got an upgrade for us. So that'll be another small subtle boost to the engine power, I hope. And then ERS is definitely the next upgrade we're looking at, but we need to obviously wait, bit of patience there. But we're now heading into the Spanish Grand Prix race weekend, and we're doing the Pirelli Hot Lap. Now, this is the same one that I featured in my preview video on the build up to the launch of this game, so I'll kind of skip ahead because you've already, well, if you've watched that video, you've seen this challenge, which is the autocross one, getting through the pillars, getting through the gates, kind of nimble, light, agile, braking, acceleration and turning needed in the Aston Martin. I think this is the supercar that we're using for this version of the Pirelli Hot Lap. And then we go into practice. You can see ticking off everything, getting the maximum R&D we can get, and as many discounts on the upgrades as well with those boosters. So nearly back up to 900, 861. That will be enough though to get an ERS upgrade. We do have a discount as well of 15%, which is pretty damn decent. We could wait longer, but I want to get it right now because by the time it comes in, it'll be Baku, so that's quite a long way away. That's 2 whole episodes. But that means going to Baku, we'll have the major drag and weight reduction, and then also the ERS upgrade. So I think from Baku, I think Baku could be a massive race for us, and then also Canada as well. But these next 2 races, I don't know how they're going to go, you know? I can't really tell. Spain, historically, on the F1 game, it's been a good one for me versus the AI. I feel like I have a decent amount of 1-lap pace around here and race pace as well. But in the past, Spain in the race, the 2-stop versus the 1 has been so overpowered, and that used to be a major factor of how you could do well in the race in a lower car. But this year with the new tyre rule, the fact you can choose whatever tyre you want at the start of the race, means it may be a more challenging Grand Prix, as everyone will probably be on the 1-stop. So it's about trying to qualify as high as we can, and then, well, hoping we have genuine race pace around here. But of course, the cars around us, McLaren, Aston, AlphaTauri, they've all been upgrading, and so our car has been slipping back a little bit, I feel, in terms of one-lap pace. I think race pace-wise, though, we are quite good, but here in qualifying, then 2 flying laps. The second one I thought was pretty good, but like in Miami, we, although gained a decent amount of time on the second run, I felt quite good about the lap. It just ended up being a lot lower than I thought we would be, but that's kind of how it is at the start of the career series. It's a bit disheartening. Maybe you feel like a lap can be going so well, but the car just genuinely isn't that fast around here. But we are close to Drogovic, so that's kind of nice to be together and similar sort of pace. Always good to match our teammate, and it's not a massive gap. If I gained one more tenth, we could have made it through into Q2, actually, if you look at that result. So, actually, maybe I could have done more in qualifying, actually, if I look at that and be honest. Maybe I could have gained a 10th somewhere and got us through into Q2. Maybe Drogovic could have done that as well. So, actually, from looking at those times, I think there's more to come in the race, and we should be looking forwards and trying to maximise the race, because clearly, I think we could have gotten to Q2, actually. So let's go out there, be aggressive as we were in Imola, maybe, and try and make up for what was maybe a poor qualifying at the end of it for myself and Drogovic.
The Spanish Grand Prix has been a permanent fixture of the Formula One calendar for over 30 years now, and for good reason. Do you remember Michael Schumacher's absolute dominance here in that rain-soaked Grand Prix in 1996? That day, he took his first ever victory for Ferrari, and we've had many more iconic moments since. The Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya then, a high-speed 2.89-mile circuit which demands an efficient downforce package and bravery on the part of the driver, especially through the blind right of turn 9, which we might just see taken flat out this weekend. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. It's Carlos Sainz in pole position, Charles Leclerc alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Russell, Valtteri Bottas and Mick Schumacher, Fernando Alonso, Magnussen, Zhou and Esteban Ocon, Norris, Gasly, Daniel Ricciardo and Perez. They've taken a grid penalty. Stroll, Vettel, the owner driver and Felipe Drugovich, Latifi, Hamilton, Tsunoda. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Alex Albon picks up the last spot on the grid. That's it then. It's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. Natalie Pinkham. A lot of talented drivers out on the track today, but what will stand out for you?
My focus is 100% on the front of the grid. Like you said, we're seeing a lot of strong competition across those positions, so it'll be so interesting to see the fight for that front spot. Personally speaking, I'm hoping for plenty of overtakes.
Right, race day for this Spanish Grand Prix. Myself and Drogovic close together, and I think, like I said at the end of that qualifying section, I think clearly looking at the times, there's a bit more to be had around this circuit. 1/10 in it, and we could have been up 4 places. So the strategy, like I said, annoyingly, is going to be a one-stop either way, apparently, actually soft or medium to the hard compound. So there's not even a 2-stop involved here. So everyone's going to be on the same sort of strategy. So there's not going to be any kind of funny business with going longer and getting track position. It's going to all have to be done on pure race pace here, as it has been for the entire season with all these one-stoppers. Here we go, parking up. We're going to just about get it okay. I wanted to go for a bit more, but was a bit worried we were going to overstep the mark on the grid slot. So we just went for the safe option. But we are ready now for 5 red lights for the Spanish Grand Prix and the start of the European portion of the season. Lights out, and away we go. Vettel with a lot of wheel spin, and we've got a cracking start versus the 4-time world champion. Now, where can we place our car for turn 1? It's going to be tricky, but I think there's some room on the outside. Stroll makes a catastrophic error into turn 1 there and breaks off a bit of his front wing. He's going to be slow. It was a Ferrari lockout, but has anyone behind Verstappen or Russell been able to do anything anything to break the Ferrari deadlock and try and break the cycle of Ferrari domination. I think up the road on the minimap I can see the Mercedes has maybe jumped up as we find ourselves now trying to attack Daniel Ricciardo. Hamilton, by the way, he's down in P17. He got knocked down Q1. I forgot to even mention that because it has happened before in the series, to be fair. So he's behind us as we look to finish off this move on Ricciardo, the man we fought so hard for so long at the Miami Grand Prix. We really pinched him in. Bit of contact made with the Aussie just to make sure we finished the job. That wasn't intentional, but I thought he was fully behind me, but clearly not. But we pinched him in, got the elbows out. But let's look at a replay then. It was a Ferrari 1-2. Verstappen with an okay start. Better one for George Russell. The second Ferrari, man. I think this is Sainz in second. Bit slow here. Russell down the inside. No, it's Leclerc. It's Leclerc. And so Russell gets up into second place. It's Carlos Sainz that leads the way at his home GP off the back of a win at Miami. I wonder if that's going to give him a focus boost to go on to win a second back-to-back win maybe here at his home Grand Prix. Russell in second though, and you've got the championship leader Leclerc defending Verstappen. This is the rivalry we want to see in real life. Verstappen down the inside here. Can he get third place? Can he get ahead of Leclerc to get some crucial points on him in this race? Doesn't look like it right now, but it's only lap 1. So long to go. Let's see. You know, if the Mercedes can overtake the Ferrari, maybe Verstappen can as well. Come on, let's see it. But meanwhile, back to our fight then. We're still fighting away and kind of joint to the hip with Daniel Ricciardo, it would seem, at the beginning of this season. Defending well for P14 at the moment, but there may be more positions to come. You never know, because there's some fighting going on ahead of us. Meanwhile then, lap 3, Sainz dominating this. 1.8 seconds now to Russell, who's doing a fantastic job, to be fair, in second place ahead of Leclerc and Verstappen. And so, oh, Sainz is slow though! Sainz is slow! Has he got an issue? Yes, he has. Carlos Sainz can have no home luck, it would seem, here today, because he's out of his home Grand Prix. He's out from leading the Spanish Grand Prix. That is going to be a gut punch and a half. He was on, you know, he was looking very strong, like I said. Definitely had maybe a focus boost from winning the Miami Grand Prix. We know how much a race win matters to AI focus and momentum and how they perform in the races after the win. And so Sainz was probably looking pretty strong to dominate this one, I would say. But now, George flipping Russell leads this race in the Mercedes car. Can you believe it? Just like in real life, he is battling at the front of the Spanish Grand Prix, whereas Hamilton is down in P15 struggling. It is scary how much this is imitating real life right now. Leclerc going for a move though, unlike where in real life it was Verstappen. Leclerc is the one making the overtake. Verstappen goes down the inside as well. George has made a mistake there. He's felt the pressure from being in the lead, it would seem, and he's cracked. Leclerc leads the race now. Verstappen second, and the status quo has been reset back to normal. Russell, though, in third place. That would still be a pretty damn good podium. But now, Verstappen versus Leclerc. Obviously, Verstappen will have DRS. Leclerc won't be in the leader. So, you know, what is this? 6th time lucky in the 6th race. Can Verstappen finally take the fight to Leclerc and beat him, I wonder? We'll find out later. Right now, Ricciardo's taking the fight to me, and he's storming past us here on lap 6. We're going to be down to P14. We have gained one free position, though, I think, from one of the cars ahead of us, pitting for some damage. An early pit stop that they want to make. I think it might have been even Sergio Perez in the Red Bull, you know, but don't quote me on that. We're going to have to see how it shakes up later. If we meet him on track, then I guess that would confirm it would be him. I don't think there's another Red Bull in the top 10 at the moment, so it may just be Sergio Perez that made an early stop for damage. We've got another quick car behind us, which is Hamilton. Obviously, his teammates up there in a podium position right now, so Hamilton lurking behind us, although he had a very slow qualifying. Clearly so far, unlike in real life, in the game so far, it's been a case of Hamilton's AI just not getting qualifying right, and he clearly has some good actual race pace here. But I don't know, it's been weird. It's kind of been cool how we've seen that happen just like in real life, but I don't know if Codemasters have actually coded it like that at all. I kind of doubt it in a way. We just kind of got lucky a bit of seeing that as we now go for a re-overtaking pass of Ricciardo, and he locks up so badly that he's off circuit. We put the pressure on Rick Bobby, and he's cracked even worse than Russell there. He went clearly off circuit. He's lost the position to Hamilton, Vettel as well. I didn't think we were going to make that pass, but on the inside we had DRS, but I didn't have enough overspeed. But at the apex, Ricciardo just got it all locked up. Hamilton, though, overtakes. As you can see, I've not made too much of a fight of it because, let's be real, he is in a quicker car. There's no point fighting him. You're about to see, give him like 2 laps of clean air and he'll pull away from us. So there's no point trying to keep him behind. He's in a car that's right now going for 3rd place. So we'll let him by and focus on our real fight versus Vettel and Daniel Ricciardo. Lap 11 on to 12. You can see Hamilton now is 2.7 seconds ahead. So he's miles ahead. Vettel now is pushing past us. That Aston's actually gotten really quick and is genuinely a bit of a nuisance to us now in this season, annoyingly. We had them in our back pocket, I think, for a couple, 2 rounds, I would say, from round 3 Australia to the next one. But now they're back and they're fighting and they're quick in a straight line, annoyingly. The Mercedes engine paying out, maybe just also some pretty decent slippery car design basing. We know we still have work to do, but Vettel's locked up. Vettel's locked up in the same way Ricciardo did. We're seeing a lot of lockups from these AI today. Lot of mistakes. Maybe the tyre wear is kicking a bit too much for them on the mediums, but we're ahead of Sebastian Vettel once again up into P12. But that was very fine. We almost made a little bit of contact. Oh, we did make some contact. And that's why I'm checking with my engineer about the vehicle condition. But he says everything is A-OK. And he's only talking about the tyre wear. That generally means there's no bodywork damage. And we don't need to be worried. But we do need to be worried by this ongoing pressure from this pack behind us. Vettel, Ricciardo, Tsunoda, Albon. All very quick. And under pressure. We've lost the back end. And we've spun it in a race for the first time. Vettel's crashed into us. Ricciardo's crashed into us, and we somehow come down unscathed. But Vettel with no front wing, Ricciardo no front wing. It's an F1 miracle. How are we still in this race, and how have we got no damage there? But the safety car is out for the crash we caused. But somehow, as I hold my hands up, I just dropped it. But then we've got no damage from it. I don't know how that's happened. I was expecting some floor damage or side pod damage because Vettel pretty much smacked us, dead on with a T-bone collision there. We're going to come in now to put on the hard tyres under the safety car, which ironically could help us a bit. Drogovic comes in with a double stack, and we're going to come out just ahead, it would seem, of Sergio Perez. So confirmation, I was correct earlier. Perez did pit earlier for damage that he got on his front wing, I think fighting a car. I don't know which car it was, but he got damage, and he came in a lot earlier, and we managed to jump him then by pitting under the safety car just about. You got a few cars ahead of us, Hamilton included, who have not come in under that safety car because I don't think they had time to, or they didn't react quick enough. So they may be now in jeopardy. So we are in P13, so about the same position we started with before that spin, but we're already on the tyre we're going to go to the end on, and there are a couple of cars ahead of us that still have to make that awkward second pit stop. But just before we get into that restart, let's look at a replay here, and that's Vettel clouting our rear end. He actually hit us on our rear tyre, so I think that's why we had no damage. If he hit us a little bit more right of where our car was placed, then maybe we would have had side pod damage. But there's Ricciardo's POV, and just all the POVs, a bit of carnage because it was a bit of a pile up, and that's why this safety car was called out. So just a mistake by me dropping the rear end, but it's ended up in a monumental collision for a lot of cars and caused a safety car here. But we've come out unscathed, so I mean, I'll take it. I'm not proud about it, but a mistake had to happen sooner rather than later with these very sensitive rear ends and these new F122 cars. But the restart is underway. Leclerc leads from Verstappen into turn 1. Oh, Leclerc makes a mistake. He's gone wide, and Verstappen takes the lead of the Spanish Grand Prix. Leclerc on the restart, maybe with cold tyres, goes wide and lets Verstappen by, waves him through basically as he's struggling to keep the car within the white lines. And Verstappen now takes the lead as we fight his teammate of all people right now on this restart. We don't have the pace to really attack Norris right now, but Sergio Perez very much does have the pace to attack us. He is in the same car as the race leader. Perez on the inside. We're not going to fight it too much, to be honest, because he can go and attack the other cars ahead of us, and whilst he attacks them, maybe he could do us a favour and slow them down, and we can try and get in the mix. But at the moment, 7/10 ahead. He's pulling away and looking to make a move on Lando Norris in the McLaren. Oh my God, Norris really squeezes him. This is a great scrap between Norris and Perez there. The McLaren giving a good old squeeze, but Perez cuts across to get back through. But the McLaren sizes up the move, using a bit of ERS battery, I wonder. Perez defensive, tight on the line. The McLaren going round the outside, trying to get the throttle down. He will. Lando getting back up into P9. Oh, contact with the Red Bull. Is that more contact for Perez? That will see him come in for a pit stop, I wonder, because that was quite a heavy clout on the front wing end plate on the McLaren side pod. As we come through the last few corners, we're right up the gearbox of Norris, and Perez is in as we try and drift the car through on the exit, pushing the limit, trying to maintain Lando Norris's DRS range. But we're up into P10 now because, like I said, the likes of Hamilton and a couple other cars, they hadn't pit under the safety car. They made a mistake, they didn't have time as well, and so we gained some free positions that way because they didn't get the free pit stop. So that's how we're in P10, and we're using Lando right now as a bit of a DRS pull to keep up with him and hopefully pull us into a fight, maybe with cars ahead of him. But right now in a very good position. I'd be happy with 1 point from where we were on the grid. Drogovic, to be fair to him, look at where he is, P12. So both of us showing we had a bit more race pace and using the safety car as well to help us out, clearly, because Drogovic jumped up a bit as well. But we've got yellow flags because Stroll is out the Grand Prix. He parked up a bit earlier, and now we move later. Lap 22. This was a battle at the front. This was a replay between Russell and Fernando Alonso, of all people. Alonso attacking Russell for the podium, this is. It's, well, that was the worst camera angle ever. This is much better now. On board with Alonso to actually see the fight going on. Russell just about edging ahead of Alonso, and then you've got behind the Alfa Romeos of Bottas, Guan Yu Zhou, the 2 Haas cars. Schumacher ahead of Magnussen right now, but not for much longer. Will Magnussen make the move under pressure? Schumacher makes a lock-up. That's the second time we've seen a driver, oh, third time actually, we've seen a driver lock up and make a mistake there. Ricciardo, Leclerc, and now Schumacher. That corner is proving quite challenging for drivers under pressure. Schumacher, lap 26, is making another mistake though. It's all going wrong for the German as he's gone wide. I think he upset the car on the curb with the acceleration there and just a bit too happy on the throttle pedal. He's into the gravel, and now we've got P9. It's a free position. I was kind of hoping maybe Drogovic would be near enough to maybe gain one more position, but he's actually fallen behind now because Tsunoda is in P11, so the AlphaTauris have creeped up, but Drogovic is still there or thereabouts in P13, doing a decent enough job, I feel. Meanwhile, lap 31 then, this race has flown by in the last 3 laps. Alonso is trying to get a podium in his home race. Russell, though, trying to maintain consistency for Mercedes here on the outside. It's a ding-dong battle. Russell versus Alonso. The new guard versus the old. Russell on the outside, Alonso on the inside. The Alpine trying to hold it through, twitching around, but the Mercedes just has just about enough downforce to maintain third place. But my oh my, what a battle that was. What a battle. Take a bow. Russell and Alonso. Lap 31. What a fight. Drogovic, P13. I also want to highlight him. I think, even though he's not in the points, I think he's doing a stellar job this race. He's jumped up the order. He's keeping back a 7-time world champion of Lewis Hamilton, the Mercedes car. A Mercedes that we just saw fight so hard for third place there. So I think Drogovic is silently doing a very good job. We are trying to go for glory in the last lap. We're getting oh so close, but not close enough to Lando Norris there. We tried it, but you saw, just as we cut onto the clip, I just wasn't alongside him, and if I made a dive, that would have just ended in misery. So I tried my hardest. We've saved a lot of ERS for this lap to try and dump it, to try and make a move, a last ditch effort on the McLaren, but it's not going to be to any prevail. Meanwhile, at the sharp end, on this last lap of this Spanish Grand Prix, after 6 rounds, or 5 rounds gone, on this 6th time of trying, Red Bull and Max Verstappen are finally going to taste a bit of champagne of victory as they round the final few corners. Verstappen will take victory at his first Grand Prix of the season. Can you believe it? He's going to come through to win the Spanish Grand Prix, and he's done it in some style, putting Leclerc under pressure on the restart of the safety car and getting the win, and that's going to be a crucial couple of points ahead of Leclerc. Could this be the kickstart that Red Bull need to start their charge towards Ferrari, or will Ferrari come back with them? Will Mercedes annoy them? I guess we'll find out, but that is the story we're writing here in this career series. Meanwhile, for us, by the end of the lap, I kind of ran out of steam entirely, to be honest, versus Norris, but we are going to finish up in P9. 2 points in the championship for us. I'll take that. I'll take that. We used the safety car to good use. Obviously, you know, Perez and Hamilton falling foul helped. Somehow we've got 2 points. At one point, we're facing backwards.
Another Spanish Grand Prix is over then, and what a special race it was. So, Natalie, what do you think helped them deliver this result?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They've performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone.
So the Dutchman finally takes the top step of the podium in this My Team series in Season 1. And like I said, could that be the kind of, you know, momentum spiral, the focus boosted for Verstappen now going into the next one? Monaco. Monaco's going to be an interesting one. Qualifying's crucial, and Red Bull historically have been very good around there, but also Ferrari have as of late around Monaco, and especially Leclerc, at least on the Saturday. But we know how his race, how his luck has been on race day, so we'll see into the next race. But this one is Red Bull's as they take victory ahead of Leclerc and Russell, getting a great podium, but Alonso really gave him a good run for the money. But got to be said as well, you know, quietly, you know, Alfa Romeo, strong one for them. Bottas and Guan Yu Zhou both scoring points. For us, though, the fact we span and we're facing backwards in a kind of, you know, pile-up collision, and we managed to get 2 points from that, is we're very, very lucky to not be out of the race, and then we're lucky that we were able to make our way up. Perez and Hamilton falling foul, a couple of mistakes from drivers helping out as well. So all in all, a day that I will take. That was a very solid Spanish Grand Prix, a very entertaining one, especially for the fighting at the sharp end between first and second, and also third and fourth, and then also the battles we were kind of seeing in front of us in the midfield with the mistakes from Schumacher and Magnussen in that fight. But guys, if you have enjoyed this one, hit the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.